Greetings, human development students, and happy week number 4. We are over the hump and we are just cruising along in this quick summer session. So I know it's a lot. I'm really impressed with those of you who are keeping up with turning in all your assignments and getting all of our work done. So let's take kind of a view of what's going on in this upcoming week. Number 1, you should have received notice that I did extend the deadline, the due date for your academic excursion activity. So whether you do that, in a hard copy format or you do the online off hours version, one of those versions needs to be submitted by the extended due date, which I think is the 30th, if I recall. In addition, we got a couple things going on. I think we got paper number 2 coming up this week. Again, I can say to you, please, please, please look at the example paper. I will be able to tell if you did not, because students, again, make a mistake on this paper of sometimes formatting it exactly like paper 1, and it's not formatted that way. The instructions and directions are laid out in the syllabus. I tend to be really clear with what I'm looking for, and so it's laid out in the syllabus, but even so, if you look at the example paper, it's also right there for you. You do not need an abstract. I know we're doing APA format. However, no need for an abstract. You should have a cover page. Then you should have the next page to start at the top with your typing. And again, you will be doing at least 20 bullet point goals. They will be broken up into 5 different sections: personal goals, financial goals, personal, financial, education, employment, and then your community service and spiritual goals. You're welcome to divide those up in any way you see fit. So in other words, out of the 20 goals, you can have more than 20. You may feel like you have 8 personal goals and only 2 community service goals. That's okay, as long as the total number adds up to at least 20. Okay. And then at the end of that paper, you're going to have at least 2 different paragraphs from me. The first one is going to be your long-term goal. So this means, again, beyond 5 years. What are you looking for? So sometimes I'll get papers, and in their goals, they'll say something like, I want to own a Maserati. I want to go to Italy for a month. And I'm thinking those might be like beyond 5-year type goals. Those are more long-term goals. I get students who will say things like, I am going to get married and have 3 kids. Okay, do we have a partner right now? That's number 1 question, right? So that would be long-term goal. So your short-term goal should be sign up for Tinder, Tumblr, whatever it's called. Sign up for dating website to get a partner, right? That's number 1 goal. If that's what you want to do, is eventually have a long-term relationship and have a family. So think short-term, under 5 years. Your last paragraph will be on plan B. And I know many of you are like, there's no need for plan B. Plan A is going to happen. I'm just going to will it to happen. Well, believe it or not, life doesn't always work that way. Our programs here at Delta are impacted. We have a lot of applicants for different programs, and you may not get in your first try, etc. And so what are we going to do while we're waiting to get into a program? We have to kind of think of something else, or you could be waiting for a long time. So what is plan B? So make sure to look at the example paper for paper number 2. Remember, it's worth the same points as an exam, 100 points. In addition, there's a couple activities, I think. So you've got a group case study on Doris Drug Dealer, Crime and Punishment, coming up this week. In addition, you've got a really fun activity called the Love Language Quiz. For those of you who have taken psychology, you may have heard of Dr. Gary Chapman. He wrote an awesome book called The 5 Love Languages, and you are going to be doing a quiz to determine what your love language is. We'll talk a little bit more about it after you submit it, because it is an awesome activity. Okay, so we've got a couple activities. We've got a paper that's due. I think at the end of the week, you actually have exam number 3. We have a lot of chapters we're going through, but they're fun because now we're moving into emerging adulthood, which is 18 to 25. And we're going to talk about relationships and romance. And this tends to be the time that my students really are engaged and really want to hear the information that we're sharing on how to have healthy relationships. Some of us didn't get to see what that looked like with our parents or guardians. We don't know what that means, and we need to. in order for us to be successful and raise children that are successful. So we'll talk more about that in our upcoming week ahead. All right, guys, feel free to reach out with your student lounge discussion if you have questions or if I can assist you in any way, but keep up the positive work that's going on with our activities. Oh, before I forget, I hope you enjoyed writing your reflection from last week. We talked about sex. We'll talk a little bit about, when having the talk, and we talked about, that experience and why it's important. Why did I spend time making a video talking about some of the really important things and why it's so crucial to the healthy development of your children to go down that road, right? So I enjoyed kind of having you tell me that you really appreciated it, and there was information that was really helpful and crucial to, your family's success, like I said. So I'm glad that we kind of got to explore that. We'll get to continue to explore some things that relate to relationships this week. All right, see you guys soon.